You might think learning English means sitting with a notebook and memorizing verbs. But what if I told you that's the slowest way? Stories train your brain naturally, the same way you learned your first language. You don't study grammar when you're watching a story. You feel the meaning, hear how real English flows, and remember words without forcing it. Let's go into today's story and let the language do the work. Open book. Emma was 6 years old and very proud of it. She liked pink nail polish, dinosaur stickers, and sandwiches cut into little triangles. But most of all, she loved her older sister's shoes. Her sister, Lily, was 9, and in Emma's eyes, that made her a full-grown adult. She had her own room, her own backpack with pins on it, and she got to sit in the front seat sometimes. Most importantly, Lily had the coolest sneakers ever, white with green lightning bolts on the side. Emma had asked to try them on before, but the answer was always no. "They're too big," Lily said. "You'll trip." But one Saturday morning, Lily went to swimming class and forgot to close her closet door. Emma stood at the edge of the room, stared at the shoes, and smiled like a detective who had found a secret clue. She stepped inside, pulled out the sneakers, put them on. There was silence. Then she stood up. Her feet slid forward inside the shoes. The front of each one stuck out like little boats. But she didn't care. She was wearing grown-up shoes. She walked slowly at first. One careful step, then another. The shoes made soft flapping sounds as she moved. In the mirror, she didn't look 6. She looked powerful. So she opened the front door and stepped outside. The pavement was warm under the morning sun. Emma walked down the street toward the park. She held her head high like someone who knew exactly where she was going, even though her feet moved like she was walking on soap. She passed a man walking a dog. He smiled politely, then looked down at her shoes. His eyes widened just a bit. She nodded like, "Yes, I know. They're amazing." At the park, she climbed onto the low balance beam. It was only a few inches off the ground, but in those giant shoes, it felt like a tightrope above the clouds. One foot out, wobble. Other foot forward, wobble again. She spread her arms for balance, and that's when one shoe slipped off. She reached down to fix it, but her other foot twisted, and she fell. Not badly, just a soft thud into the grass. But she sat there, blinking, realizing something strange. Her toe hurt. A lot. A woman nearby rushed over. "Are you okay, sweetheart?" Emma nodded. "I think so." The woman looked at her feet. "These shoes are way too big." Emma nodded again, this time slower. The woman helped her up and walked her home. By the time Lily returned, Emma was sitting on the couch with an ice pack on her toe and socks on her feet. "You went out in my sneakers?" Lily asked. Emma looked away. "I told you they were too big." Emma sighed. "They looked like magic shoes." Lily smiled. "They kind of are. But magic only works if they fit." Emma didn't say anything. But later that week, her parents got her a new pair. Not with lightning bolts, but with little purple stars. And this time, they were exactly her size. In this story, you heard real English in action. Phrases like, held her head high, stood at the edge, passed a man walking a dog, and like walking on soap. These expressions stick with you, not because you studied them, but because you saw them. That's what our stories do every single day. So if you want to grow your English by feeling the language, not forcing it, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments. Have you ever worn something that just didn't fit? Catch you in the next one. We upload daily.